I don't know about you guys, but I am excited about this. This is gonna be my third time trying veneer plaster, and I haven't tried it for a couple of years. And yes, I'm excited, but I'm also very nervous. And the plastering room in question is this bathroom, the one where I removed the wallpaper. So this does not need plaster. I could definitely get away with just doing my usual drywall repair and it would be fine. But the contractor is giving me an opportunity to improve my skill set. So we're gonna do that in here because we figure it's a pretty contained space where a coat of plaster on the walls isn't gonna cause anybody any trouble. Unless, of course, we get the worst case scenario where we have to rip all the drywall out because I do a horrible job. But I'm hoping for the best case scenario, which is a decent coat of plaster with maybe just a few touch-ups necessary.
The first thing you need to know about plaster is that it has very poor adhesion, and you either need a special primer to get it to bond or it needs mechanical adhesion, i.e. something really sandy with a lot of tooth that it can bite into. So I started by cutting in my ceiling. The only challenge here was just spreading this really watery glue. It was kind of hard to work with without making a mess. But once I started going on the walls, I realized that I had a big problem. The walls had been primed with an oil-based primer to seal in the wallpaper glue, and that was making the PVA primer bead up over the surface. I can't find plaster weld in my area, so I went to Rona and tried to find a product that looked like it would improve the adhesion of a plaster. I quickly cleaned the PVA primer off of the walls. However, I left it on the ceiling. The ceiling had not been primed with oil. It was just the original latex paint. Because I had no idea how well this product would work, I decided to test it on the primed wall and on a piece of bare drywall. I had a pretty good feeling it would work well because it had sand in the mix, which would increase the mechanical bond. So as you can see, it wasn't very much fun rolling this stuff on. Basically like trying to roll milk on the ceiling. One of the annoying things about using PVA is there's some timing involved. You can't let it get too dry or else it doesn't stick. If it's too wet, it's gonna mess with your plaster. So you've gotta kind of wait till it's just tacky and then apply your plaster. And while the PVA was still quite wet, the other stuff dried pretty quick. Oh, just to add one more layer of complication, I forgot I actually did 2 coats because according to the internet, you have to do 1 coat of PVA, let it dry, and then you need to do another coat and let that one become just tacky. So yeah, the PVA primer, in my opinion, was a lot of work and pretty finicky. The first thing I noticed about this stuff was it was so much more splattery to mix. It just doesn't have stick. So even to itself, it splatters all over the place. My regular drywall mixer I just don't think was a very good choice to use, but I didn't have another option on me that day.
That has such a different feel and it just slides.
First I did what the East Coasters call blocking in the joint, which is where you go over top of the mesh tape and kind of flatten out the joint, and you let that start to set up just a little bit. And here I am doing my best plasterer impression of the way they spread it out and then go back over it to sort of flatten it out and spread it more evenly. It's harder than it looks. Very different than drywall. And this stuff is so slippery. It really, in every way, feels different. I feel like my knowledge of how drywall mud works actually was a help, but it's also a hindrance. I think the biggest challenge for me is knowing that it doesn't have to be perfect on first application. Basically, you're just trying to get the material on the surface, and then you're going to go back for what's called the double up. So you get a chance to make it smoother, but I'm so used to trying to get it really flat and smooth without liftoffs when doing drywall finishing that I would say my application in this case is just going much too slow. You only get about 30 to 45 minutes depending on the temperature and depending on if there's anything in your bucket kicking off the mix. It was really temperamental. You get one little clump and it can start to kick off your whole bucket. Going around this fan really threw me off, I think. With drywall mud, I really wouldn't have had a problem, but I was trying to do this just using the trowel. Usually I'll grab a knife, 4-inch knife, whatever fits, but here I was trying to do it all with the trowel, not jumping around between tools, and I definitely think I lost a lot of time farting around this fan. I tried for a while with just the trowel, but eventually, yep, the drywall knives came out. Let's not forget our sample. Boy, does that ever grip better. I'm going to clean up a little bit and then it's time to double back. It's already firm where I beveled out the joints. Maybe don't do that. It's not drywall finishing. So ideally, if you're using blue board instead of say PVA, the blue board should pull out a bunch of the moisture from the plaster and really firm it up so that when you go back to put your double up on with your mix still being pretty wet, the stuff on the wall is firm and doesn't move. But what I was getting and what's not showing on camera very well was all of these drags, because basically the layer underneath that I'm trying to coat over top of is pulling and dragging across the slick PVA surface because the PVA isn't pulling that moisture out and stabilizing it. So I actually found the double up to be quite difficult. It was not smoothing out as quickly or as easily as I needed it to. I just kept feeling like I was pulling that bottom layer off. Like it didn't stick enough. I just kept struggling with actually leaving enough on because I would pull on it and that bottom layer just kept kind of coming with it. Once you can touch the plaster without your finger sticking to it, it's time to start polishing it up. What I didn't know is that you're simply supposed to do a real quick flatten out. And instead, what I'm now doing is I'm going straight to adding water and trying to get it perfect. But you're actually supposed to go over it at least a couple times dry before you even start adding water. And it often drags a little bit at this stage, and that made me really start fussing and trying to get it perfect because I thought those drag marks were going to stay. But what's actually happening is I'm basically about to lose the ceiling because I do not have enough time to fart around with it that much, because the stage at which you can flatten it out is really short. In the end, I would say I got the ceiling barely passable, but because there's no direct light on the ceiling and it's just pot light shining down, we ended up just painting it and going with it. but it would not have been good enough for a well-lit space. The next day, I decided to test the adhesion of that primer I used with the sand, and it was really good. And because of those results, I decided to start priming all the walls with that material because it did a great job. I also decided to finally break out this big Festool mixer that I had. They sent it to me and I hated it for mixing drywall mud, but what I found was that it was actually a perfect mixer for plaster, which is what it was probably originally intended for, and it didn't splatter the way the other one did. I did not film the first coat and the double up, but this is me starting to do the first flatten out. And because things went so well with the first wall I did that day, I decided that I should try and do 2 walls next, which was not a good idea.
Trying not to lose the wall. I still have this one to flatten out really quick too.
I forgot to mention I was also trying a different technique on these 2 walls. A plasterer from the East Coast that I'd been chatting to on Instagram suggested that I should do a base coat, so 1 coat of plaster, and then do a second coat after it's set but not dry, and that should help with some of the dragging. And it might have helped had I chosen to just do 1 wall at a time, but because I gave myself 2 walls, I was seriously panicking. I was panicking so much that I managed to step in my water bucket off of my bench right in the middle of filming this.
Don't have time for that.
So this is now the water polishing stage. I did the 2 flattening out, and you can hear that it's quite hard now, and there's not much opportunity to change the shape of the surface. The stuff that's left on the blade, I believe, is called grease, and it's basically dust and water and has little to no filling capabilities because it just has no integrity. You can wash it right out with a sponge.
I almost gave up on this wall, but it's gonna be okay with touch-up.
Okay, it is time for the final coat on the final wall, and I would say this is the first mix that I actually got to the right consistency. So this is me doing my best impression of a plaster spread. You have to hold the trowel differently when doing plaster. It requires a firm closed grip so that you can rock the trowel back in the other direction. But you know what, you guys? I have this little voice inside my head telling me you might be hitting information overload. So maybe it's time to chill out with a little music and just enjoy the rest of this visually. You know, there's a little bit of irony going on here because in my 20 years of construction, this is the most stressful job I have ever done. So that peaceful song you just heard did not reflect what was really going on. Death metal would have more accurately reflected the pace and the mood and the tension that I was experiencing at this exact moment. And here's the finished product. It has a really interesting texture to it, visually. By touch, it's actually very flat. So while it looks uneven, it's actually quite smooth and flat. Although it did require a few touch-ups to get it paint ready.
I am humbled and exhausted. And all I want to do is sit in the sun with a cold drink and a snack. Huge respect to anyone who does that for a living, because that is hard